Major, what would you say? What would you, how do you see this development where Pakistan, in fact, Major is joining us live. Very good evening, Major. How do you see this development, Major? Pakistan does not have money to buy atta. It is really struggling. Its economy is in tatters. And for its nefarious designs of breaking India through 1,000 cuts, they have the money to push in through our borders, cash, more than 2 crore rupees of cash and drugs, just so that they can continue their war with India by other means?
No, absolutely, Abhishek. Thank you for inviting me. You see, this is something which is not new. This has been happening for a long time. We have known about the Golden Triangle. This is part of the Golden Crescent. And this is how drugs are smuggled. This is how narco-terrorism is done. And if you look at the map of Jammu and Kashmir and look at the line of control, you'll see that POK is largely Jammu. I'm not saying it's all Jammu, it's largely Jammu. The maximum part of POK is actually Jammu, and that is the ingress route for mostly for terrorism and terrorists and also drugs and such things. And this is how Pakistan funds it. So a lot of people say, like you very rightly asked, Pakistan does not have the money to feed its people. Where does it get the money to actually, fund terrorism in India? The images are right there in front of you. And this is what I've been saying for a long time. This is narco-terrorism. Pakistani army is involved in smuggling of drugs. They are part of the cartels that grow, poppy in Afghanistan. They have labs. And then in army trucks from the Peshawar Corps, the army trucks from Torkham and other kids, they are formally taken in army trucks. From Afghanistan, they come into Pakistan, they're loaded on Pakistani army trucks, and then they're taken. So this is how it's done, Abhishek.
Major, I would also want to understand from you, who could be behind this. But I have to first go to Gursimran Singh to get a sense of the ground, what's happening there, how are investigations picking up pace, which agencies are involved. Major, stay back with us. I'm going to Gursimran for a bit. Gursimran, joining us live from Jammu. Gursimran, when did this discovery happen, and which agencies are involved in investigation now? And tell us something about who all have been arrested by the police there and the agencies involved there in this case.
There is a massive Abhishek counter-insurgency operation that has been launched in the Poonch and Rajouri district soon after the Dangri attack. And as part of that, Rafi Lala was one of the drug peddler who was detained by the Jammu and Kashmir police, and he was booked under the Public Safety Act because his links with the terror handlers across the border were established during the calls details of Rafi Lala that was picked up by the Jammu and Kashmir police. And during investigation, it came into being that he is hiding a huge cache of arms and ammunition as well as cash in his house that falls in the upper reaches of the Mandi, which is very near to the line of control. After which, yesterday afternoon at around 11:30, we are told that the team of Jammu and Kashmir police along with the Indian Army, they reached the spot. Sister intelligence agencies were also part of this team that reached the spot, and recovery was made that include more than 2 crore rupees cash, 7 kilogram of heroin, the international market worth of which is more than 35 crore rupees. Pistol magazine is also recovered. And now what the agencies are saying that during investigation it is emerging that Rafi Lala was involved in the infiltration of terrorists into the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. And this is usually the pattern that those foreign terrorists who infiltrate into the Indian territory, they give these kind of small pistols to their guides on the Indian side as a mark of gift to them. And this money was possibly sent to activate the cadre of the terror groups and also to revive the terrorism in the Pir Panchal as well as the Chenab Valley. This is what the agencies are saying. And now total so far in this case, 2 associates of Rafi Lala have also been arrested. So total 3 arrests have been made by the Jammu and Kashmir police and the sister agencies. And this was a specific input that was generated by the sister intelligence agency based on which this operation was launched. Today, we are getting to know that some more people have been detained by the Jammu and Kashmir police with respect to this module only, that was not only providing the logistic to the terrorists but also helping them in getting the cash distributed to the local cadres to activate the overground workers, because the crackdown that has been on the OGWs of various terror groups in Jammu and Kashmir has led the Pakistani terror groups feel that they have no ground zero support, and twin modules that have been busted, the narco modules, they were also being operated by Rafi Lala. This is what the agencies have come to know so far. Yes, Abhishek.
Okay, Gursimran, a couple of things come out from what you just said. A, 3 arrests have been made. B, that it's Pakistan clearly pushing its narco-terror designs with this money and the drugs. And you seem to be suggesting, Gursimran, Major, hold on, I'll come back to you. We just want to understand exactly what's happening there on the ground. You also seem to be suggesting, Gursimran, that there are some sleeper cells which the Pakistanis might have wanted to activate with the pushing in of this money. And you are also suggesting that this is directly connected with gun running as well. Has there been some seizure of cache of arms also in this counter-insurgency operation that has led to this find?
See, a pistol and a magazine along with some rounds of the SLR have been recovered. But what we are getting to know from the agencies that they say that usually if a group of terrorists cross over to the Indian territory from Pakistan, they usually give a pistol to the guide as a gift of token, as a mark of respect to them, as a mark of thankfulness to them. So this pistol could be one of them, and the agencies suspect that he was the one who has facilitated various groups of Pakistani terror groups infiltrating into the Indian territory. And that's why this is really very concerning. His call details are being thoroughly worked upon. His WhatsApp chats are also being worked upon along with other social media accounts of Rafi Lala, because Rafi Lala is a notorious character that has been working in this area very close to line of control. And in this section of LOC, when it comes to the Mandi area of Poonch, there have been twin modules of narco terror that have already been busted. So his links to those modules are also being worked upon by the police. But one major thing that the agencies are concerned about, that whether a freshly infiltrated group has crossed over to the Indian side, or Rafi Lala was the one who helped the group that carried out the killing of the civilians in the Dhangri village, was the one that was helped by Rafi Lala only. Yes, Abhishek.
Yeah, hold on, Gursimran. You know, we'll kind of break all this information that you are giving into pieces and then analyze it. Major, coming back to you. You know, I was surprised that this happens really. Gursimran is saying that a gun is given to these smugglers as a mark of respect or thanksgiving to them for doing this activity. They are activating sleeper cells. They are involved in gun running, drug running, pushing in fake currency, Indian currency. Who in Pakistan you think is doing this when they just can't handle their own economy, their own strife? They are really in the pits. And yet there are some people in Pakistan ostensibly who have the time and the money to be doing this. Who could be behind this, Major?
I'll just correct you a little bit. It's not some people, it's most of the people. There is this entire population that has been radicalized. You hear the common Pakistani talk on the street and it'll terrify you, the kind of hatred young children have been indoctrinated with. Having said that, Abhishek, this is the same template that they've used in Punjab. Now, Punjab is facing a very serious drug problem that we have seen. And where did the drugs come from in Punjab? Where did that culture of guns come? I mean, in terms of using sophisticated weapons in Punjab, it came from Pakistan. So both these areas have followed a similar template. If you look at Kashmir, if you look at Punjab, the gun culture, drugs, violence, all this happened. Now, the people of Punjab are very peaceful. I'm talking about Indian Punjab. I don't take any guarantees about Pakistani Punjab, but Indian Punjab has, largely agricultural people, largely good people, largely nice people, people who have been led astray by the Pakistanis and large infusion of cocaine and heroin and such drugs from across. You see, it comes from Jammu. There'll be reports from BSF who will say that across Punjab, drones are flying. So if you see, there is a commonality between Punjab and Kashmir here. I'm not saying they're the same. I'm saying there are commonalities. And of course, this is the handiwork of the inter-services intelligence of the Pakistan Army and the Pakistani Armed Forces rather. And they're the people who are doing it because this is what they aim to do. Yes, absolutely. It is the ISI. Nobody in Pakistan has the bandwidth.
Now you have said it, Major.
Absolutely. Abhishek is the ISI.
Now you have said it, Major. This is organized crime by the organized state or an element of the organized state called Deep State of Pakistan, obviously. Then, Major, we have to understand, if that be the case, and we know, what has happened in Punjab, it's really unfortunate that situation reached that level in terms of drug menace spreading in the society of Punjab, Major. What other countermeasures we can put in place apart from these counterintelligence operations that really lead to these kind of discoveries? These are sort of post facto, when the drugs, the money, the guns, they have come in and they are being found because the Indian army is at the vanguard and carrying out those sweep operations. Is there something more we can do? Some more countermeasures we can take to make sure that this menace is, if not outrightly obliterated, contained a little more?
No, absolutely, Abhishek. I think you hit the nail on the head. What we need to do is, get the international community together and put Pakistan back on the FATF grey list. That is where Pakistan belongs. Pakistan was on the grey list. They were behaving themselves. As soon as they were taken off the grey list, we see Syed Salahuddin roaming around. We see Hafiz Saeed roaming around and, giving these talks, incendiary talks, saying that, we'll destroy India, we'll fight jihad against India and all that. So this is Pakistan's true nature. As long as you have Pakistan under the boot, as long as you have Pakistan, by the scruff of their neck, they tend to behave. And as soon as you give them breathing space, this is where the true colors are shown by Pakistanis, the Pakistani government, the Pakistani establishment, and the deep state. So, Abhishek, I think this is something that we need to look into. And India must make sure that Pakistan pays through its nose. Last time Pakistan was in the FATF grey list, they lost over $35 billion in opportunity cost. That is what it cost them. They need to go back on the grey list, Abhishek.
Absolutely. You have to get them by the scruff of their neck, and that's when Pakistan really behaves. For one last question, I'm going to Gursimran, Major, and I'll come back to you. Gursimran, you said this ring of Rafi Nala is connected with some killing of civilians also. Have some connections been established? Do we have some facts to tell viewers about the absolute nefarious designs of the Pakistani deep state in terms of connecting drug running with gun running, with narco running, and terror financing and pushing in terrorists and causing civil strife in Punjab, in Jammu and Kashmir by targeting those civilians?
See, Abhishek, what has come so far in the investigation that Rafi Lala was not restricted up to the narcotics only. He was into the trade of terror, that is facilitating the infiltration of the terrorists. This is what the investigating agencies are suggesting. And now it is very clear that a group of terrorists has come from across the border, which has carried out the innocent killing of civilians in the Dangri village of the Rajouri on 1st and 2nd of January, in which 7 civilians lost their life. So that connection is not being ruled out because the way smuggling was taking place in the Mandi area of the line of control, the Mandi sector, which falls in the upper reaches of the Poonch district. Now the that this is to rule out that Rafi Lala was not involved in the infiltration of those terrorists. The agencies are saying that it will be too early to say that, and they are probing each and every angle, because it is highly possible that those terrorists who have carried out the killing could be part of the group that was helped by Rafi Lala to infiltrate into the Indian territory, because the way they have recovered a pistol from them, it is a kind of a gift that was given by the terrorists to Rafi Lala. This is what has emerged in the investigation that has been done so far. Multi-agency investigation of Rafi Lala is on, Abhishek.
Okay, multi-agency investigation is on. Thank you so much, Gursimran, for joining us and giving those details. Major, last question to you. As a Fauji, it's a difficult terrain. If you can share with our viewers how difficult it is really for our agencies, for our forces to be operating in that area and to make sure that we are safe with all those counterinsurgency and counterintelligence operations.
You see, Poonch largely does not have the kind of sharp mountain peaks that Kashmir has, even Rajouri. These are hilly areas, but the foliage is very thick. So in parts of Rajouri and Poonch, Mender, Balnoi, Krishna Ghati, Bimbar Gali, all these places, you could be standing 20 meters away and not know that, there is a platoon sitting 20 meters away from you. That is the kind of thick foliage. So it's very difficult. If somebody goes inside the jungle, then it's very difficult to catch. So that there is a lot of places to hide, a lot of hides that can be made inside the forest or the jungle. And it's difficult terrain because there's a lot of jungle bashing to be done. It's very, very thick foliage. There are places where you can't walk a few meters without tripping. and there are vines and there are trees and their roots, and it's very dense. There are places there where the sunlight does not touch the ground. It's that thick. So it's not an easy place to operate in. But yes, the Indian Army is there. Yes.
Thank you so much, Major Gaurav Arya there, our in-house strategic affairs expert, giving us a perspective on how difficult terrain it is, but yet our forces spilling their sweat and blood, both to make sure that we as a nation and society are safe. On that note, we move on for a short break.